Hey, Adam.
What's up, Oleg?
Guys, welcome to our new studio. As you can see, the background changed a little bit. So from now on, we're going to start recording a podcast in a completely new redesigned studio. And today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about the brand new movie that just came out last Thursday.
Thursday, Friday.
So we went to see this movie in a series already. I couldn't take it. I had to leave in 1 hour. I had a dental appointment. But Vadim here and our friend cinematographer behind the camera finished watching the movie. So today we will talk about this movie, give you some insights, give you some reviews about the shots, our impressions, and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like first kind of look.
I still want to rewatch the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you one more time.
Yeah, so Beastgrip is going for take number 2, so I think it's more profit to Sony, right? What would be your one word if you could describe this movie? What was your first impression after you got out of the seat?
Amazing.
Fair enough.
I didn't know what to expect because trailers, they were amazing. You couldn't get what story is behind the trailer. It's just something, really cool looking, great sound design, but they didn't give you any, anything to kind of tell what story behind this trailer.
So it was one of the good trailers, because we hate watching a trailer when you like
No.
30 seconds into the trailer and you're like, okay, that was the first sequence, the second one, and we already know how it fit, what was the end of the movie. So good job on that one.
Yeah, and then like initial Rotten Tomatoes reviews, they were really high, but people's review was not so high. But if one recommendation, if you didn't see the film yet, just don't watch any reviews, previews, do not read anything, just go to the theater, enjoy the film, because in my opinion, it's like amazing story, amazing cinematography, sound design is amazing.
Oh, I like that creepy
Boots
song they used in the trailer too.
Yeah, so they actually used it in the actual film. Yeah, so I think it's great. I mean, I watched 28 days later, last week, just to kind of refresh my memory, because I watched it once when it came out. To me at that time, it was like the scariest film I ever saw. But it's not that scary.
Because you grew up.
Yeah, because I'm old. So I rewatched it, and I was excited about this one, especially because it was shot on iPhone. So for us, it's like another layer of excitement.
They kind of continuing the filming not on on a pro level camera, like traditional cameras. The first one was shot on like really low grade.
At that time, it was like kind of good
artistic?
Consumer,
camera.
That was
consumer camera.
Yeah.
What year was it? Was it 90s, 2000?
No, 2002 or 3.
2002 or 3.
Yeah, so with these films, they continued that with like consumer type of camera with iPhone.
I think they didn't have iPhone at that time. They could have. Danny Boyle would probably get the first iPhone to shoot that instead of the regular
camera. Who knows?
You never know. Speculations.
The way I'm watching movies now, in general, is like I'm trying to see, the character of the lens, flares, all that. It's kind of getting in between like story and me concentrating on the image. And the same was this time. I was trying to kind of analyze every single frame just to see what maybe lenses, whatever they used. But in general, like editing is amazing. I love those like angles by Anthony, a cinematographer, because it's a lot of those angled shots, not just like straight. So yeah, I think it's really great. And
I really like the aerial shot, the first sequence, the opening sequence, the aerial shot, the drone
of the island.
Yeah. Do you think it was filmed on iPhone or?
No, I mean they said that they used like drones, not just iPhones, drones, other cameras, whatever. for those infrared type looking shots. They use some.
I'm not a drone guy. As drones, like typically they have really good cameras these days. Like, do they have like cinematic cameras
I mean, they can use drones to put like
to
camera
put a
on
camera?
drone, but yeah,
Oh yeah, you're right.
doesn't really matter, you know. It's still if like you can do the job with tools that is
Hmm.
easy to use. Like, I mean, you can go extra mile like Apple and put iPhone on the drone, but
Yeah,
for them it's like you
but
know
then you're
whatever
risking the
works.
chance to lose the iPhone in case you didn't clamp it the right way.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, Panasonic cameras, whatever this had is for those infrared shots because you could like remove infrared cutoff filter from the camera. And yeah, but to me, I was kind of trying to look. I think I guessed a lot of like, okay, what lens they used, where DOF
Hmm.
adapter was used or not. Um, it's just a couple shots that I still have questions. I have to rewatch because they look a little bit different. So question is, did they use like some other camera? So it's still iPhone, but they used
I knew at the beginning there was iPhone because you could definitely tell, you know, the iPhone shot
because
at the
you knew
beginning.
it was an iPhone.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
why you
No,
was
because some
expect.
shots they look different. They looked like there was like a mix, you know, sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, because they used also, I think, some sort of, I don't know, like spotting scopes or whatever. Because some shots they have very pronounced like chromatic aberration, like intentionally.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
feels like because it's very soft over the sides. Usually it's like long shot, you know,
Hmm.
like somebody's kind of
Hmm.
watching
Hmm.
you. I think that's why they did that. In general, the way like how they mixed all together, you
Hmm.
know, like do you have shots?
Hmm.
I'm sure they probably used iPhone without any lens at all.
Hmm.
Probably, you know, why wouldn't they? So, but all of that kind of
Fit
put
together.
together
Yeah.
like nicely because it's not just what tool you use to film; it's like skill of
Hmm.
editing,
Yeah. Editing
storytelling.
is
You
really
know,
important. Yeah.
because especially we had this article at IGN
Hmm.
with some BTS shots and interview with Danny Boyle when they first showcased that crazy rig with
Oh, it was
20
20
iPhones.
iPhones. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Like, what you guys gonna do with that? You know, because
Hmm.
it's like bullet time,
Hmm.
and in the film you can tell right away where it is, and
I think I missed that. I think it was past 1 hour.
it was right at the beginning. It's just so fast. It's happening so fast. It's not like Matrix, you know. You're just
Oh,
like
okay.
enjoying that
So it was like a 1 second
sequence,
shot.
like super fast, you know.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they used it quite a lot at the beginning. And what I like, they used it. You expected gonna use it again, but it's not, you know. And
They
then
tease you. They just
yeah,
tease
you're
you with
like guessing,
that.
okay, am I gonna see that
Hmm.
again with the next skill or not? But and I like it because it's not, oh, you know what's gonna happen. I had the
Hmm.
movies when you kind of sitting in the first 20 minutes, you're like, okay, I see the story and where it's gonna go and this cliche kind of you know development and
Yeah.
ending. That's not that film.
Well, Danny Boyle is known for, you know, like artistic type of shots and like in all of his movies.
Yeah, but even Alex Garland, he's also known for like great storytelling. So
Hmm.
all of that kind of combined
Combined, yeah.
together, yeah, it's ending also like you have to see that because no spoilers, but it's brilliant. You know, I see like a lot of mixed reviews, but I think it's like I'm not a big fan of horror films or
Hmm.
zombies
But it's
or
not the typical like horror film where the lady comes out of the lake and eats you. It eats your kids and stuff like it's. I would call it more like a suspense horror or
like
some
thriller, you know.
thriller. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's like you don't have those like scary jumps
I
or
don't like
anything.
that. I don't
Yeah,
like these movies. But
especially
this.
when it's like a
Hmm.
lot of tension and you know it's gonna happen.
And you're just
Somewhere.
sitting. You're sitting there waiting for those speakers in the movie IMAX to like hit you with that, you know,
Yeah.
bump. And
So there is
no,
nothing
it's.
like that. You know, scene
Hmm.
has something similar, but it's not what you typically expect. You know, from this uh, jumps, but. Low light shots, nighttime
Hmm.
shots. I would really like to know how they did it. Did they actually use some filtration and shot it
Hmm.
at the daytime, or it was like nighttime? And
A
because
day
they look
color.
like really great. All the people who are into mobile filmmaking, they starting. I think it's like okay, now you have an excellent example of all kinds of techniques,
Hmm.
all
You can.
kinds
Yeah.
of tools that were used, like all kinds of adapters, lenses, and everything combined together for a great story. To me, I could see, okay, I know that's DF. I know, like, I was looking for that. I want to know, like, which tools were used where.
But even
But
from that picture, you could tell that there was anamorphic
when you know,
lenses.
yeah, but when you know, I mean, they all did, like, the whole film is 276 by 1 ultra widescreen aspect ratio, but obviously it's not all shot with anamorphic. They used a
Yeah,
bunch of different
yeah.
things, but all were combined into this aspect ratio. Yeah, you can tell because even from BTS shots, when they released those rigs, initially I could see something. Okay, that's probably anamorphic lens because of the shape of the lens, but we didn't have like that clear picture. But recently it was another article with another angles of that rig, and you can definitely tell, you know, there are anamorphic lenses on those big rigs. And during the film, you can see some shots where it's this anamorphic flares.
Oh, I saw those flares. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
so it's
Yeah.
not like everywhere, but you can clearly see, okay, this type of anamorphic lens without DF is not, because they used also Atlas Mercury lenses. They showed that BTS shot in the field, and it's actually like in the film you can see like that exact shot because they had this light under the lens, and you can see like they use that light to give that
To
dreamy,
illuminate.
yeah, and gives that additional flare. Like, I'm wondering if they use like any action cameras because they mentioned like, oh yeah, we used other small cameras. So what are those other small cameras?
They also, I read somewhere they didn't want to make a mess on the land because they were definitely filming on like that beautiful island. But I read that they didn't want to, like, you know, drag those heavy setups on the wheels to, you know, to ruin the landscape and everything, you know. So the partially was to like to leave less of the
Preserve, yeah.
footprint.
And it's a lot of questions because like when we saw that initial, again coming back to that rig, like each phone had a cable going, and we were kind of thinking, okay, how they control like all 20 iPhones
Yeah.
at the same time. But when they showed like another angle, you can see it's probably like hard drive at the front of the phone, and it just goes to the hard drive. So each iPhone was like separate camera, so they had to set it separately and trigger.
They had one person running and clicking
Yeah.
record. But
You want to find out how
yeah,
exactly
how
they
it's
did.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not, and for other rigs, like, okay, because on BTS shot we can see Danny Boyle looking through like monitor. So okay, they had probably wireless, you know, monitors and everything to,
Yeah.
for director and crew to see. So like, okay, what hubs they use, you know, what equipment they use to do that. The iPhone itself, it's a different camera from any other cameras. You know, now we have USB-C, now we have those hubs that we used, you know, and we have mixed feedback on the reliability of those hubs. So like what they used, you know, was it reliable? Like all those details, it's really
That's
interesting.
definitely helpful, you know, even for, you know, someone who wants to film, you know, an indie film or something, you
Yeah,
know.
because like those basic things like power,
Those
you
little
know,
details, they play, I would say they play a big role, you know, during your like work day, you know, when you're in the field, you're filming and you know that this is right, all those little details, you know, to give you more confidence of what you're doing. So you're thinking more about the artistic part and not
Yeah.
thinking, oh my God, if you have, especially if you have a small crew, let's say it's like 3-4 people, indie films are almost like that, you know,
yeah.
being more confident, you know, in your gear and your setup gives you more time to be artistic with your viewfinder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like when we did this O2 film, we had just one camera, one single iPhone, you
Was
know.
it 2 guys?
Director and DP, but there were a couple other guys, you know, focus puller and everything. But like it was simple because it was just one camera rig, but it was reliable, and so yeah, we didn't have any issues with equipment. It was just focused on like capturing whatever they wanted to capture.
That's definitely a big role, you know, because I heard about sets where they hired an actors and something's not working and DP is not, you know, does
Happy.
not DP is not happy because the AC, you know, cannot figure out what is wrong, and it's the barrel or this or that or cable, you know.
Yeah, I'm wondering like what was the process with
Yeah.
shooting with so many
Maybe they're
phones,
gonna,
you know?
maybe they're gonna release Sony maybe you would guys would want to release a little bit more information. That would definitely help a lot for smartphone filmmaking, communities.
I think it's like, okay, it's in general for everyone, because now if you think about that, this level of like filmmaking was
Yeah.
shot on an iPhone, because before we had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
amazing projects,
Mm-hmm.
music videos, commercials.
Yeah.
Obviously, Apple did
Mm-hmm.
that scary fast event when they used iPhones only, and everyone was like blown away that it was shot on
Mm-hmm.
iPhone. But now we are talking about actual movies,
Yeah. It's different than the music video where you need 3-4 minutes worth of footage versus 2 hours.
Yeah, and now we had this Unsane and High Flying Bird from Soderbergh, two full feature film, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more was more like very simple, with very minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell it was an iPhone.
Was it a big like a big Hollywood? I don't
I mean,
remember.
it's on Netflix, it's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it. I think on some theaters it was screening,
Airing.
but
Okay.
I'm not sure. I watched both of them. They're great, but you can tell
Mm-hmm.
it's an iPhone because it was shot before ProRes, before Apple
Mm-hmm.
Log. So it
You
had
could tell
that,
the difference.
yeah, that iPhone look. Now
Mm-hmm.
with ProRes Log, I mean, it's hard,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell. You watching the like that film, and I'm kind of questioning some of the shots, and it's like you cannot tell. Okay, is it an iPhone or it's maybe some other cameras
Yeah.
they mentioned they used?
But for majority of people, if you're just someone who wants to watch a movie, you're probably not even going to be able to tell, like, hey,
Yeah, it just
oh, this shot was, if you go with that mind, that, analyzer,
that's what I do.
analyzer, you sit there, and yes, you could probably tell this was this and that. But, for audience, 90% audience in the movie theater, they would not be able to
It's
tell.
like 99 because
Yeah.
I don't know like how many people watch movies like that trying to analyze.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's like I want to see it at least two times.
Hmm.
First, one time more, I just want to,
Analytical.
no, just wanted to enjoy the movie.
No.
Just follow the story, not paying
Hmm.
attention and trying to spot
Yeah.
anything to figure out how it was done, just to enjoy the film. And another time it's like, okay, I want to analyze everything, but when we'll get it on, I don't know, Amazon or like Apple TV, hopefully, it's going to be on streaming
Probably a good
platforms.
few weeks, maybe a few months. I heard the director they're pushing studios to allow more theater time, for the theater industry to
Mm.
also, have movies have more, people coming because they're trying to, give a theaters more profits and stuff, especially after COVID and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's, I think, not that many people going to theaters
See,
anymore.
and it's changing, like the whole theater thing is changing, I'm a big movie theater fan, but I've seen a change in demographic, like there's not that many young people going to movies,
Yeah.
and I think movies, like, 20, 28 years later, might bring a little bit even different, like, younger audience, because a lot of kids they into, like, like horror, suspense, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was shot
Zombie,
on iPhone,
I
so
mean, it's
you
a
have
zombie movie.
you have that tool in
Yeah.
your pocket. So yeah, I hope it's that, another big milestone for like development on this whole like
Mm-hmm.
smartphone filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's for us because we are in this space, but like in general it's so accessible. Like at the end of the day, those tools are so accessible, and this argument like, oh, it was not shot on iPhone because you had big lens in the front of the
Mm-hmm.
camera, I think it's not valid argument, because for any camera you need a lens. So like,
Yeah.
you're not saying this wasn't shot on Alexa or Red because they had like some expensive
Yeah.
lens in
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
camera. So
Right.
what is the point, that argument? And like if you have additional support equipment, sound, like whatever it is, you still need it for whatever camera you use. But the biggest benefit of this type of camera, it's so flexible and adaptable. You can just hold it like this for some shots, or
Mm-hmm.
you can rig it out, or you can put like 20 of those, or whatever you want to do with that. And it's still the same camera with the same
Yeah.
look of
Yeah.
the images. Like you can adapt it to so many, to do different things that I don't know what other camera can do that in
Yeah.
this way, you know. The main takeaway, I think, is like if you still kind of on the fence, oh, should I go to the theater? I think like definitely
Definitely go.
go support that, you know, project, because they actually talking about it's a trilogy, right? So we're gonna have second one, Bone Temple, in when January 2026, and
Hmm.
I guess depending on how those both films are doing, you know, then probably it's gonna be like the last third
Hmm.
part
Usually
of
it's a
that.
trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like
Support the good project and the good cause for smartphone filmmaking.
yeah,
Go buy that ticket. It's not that expensive.
yeah. Oh, and it's like another interesting thing I wanted to kind of discuss, because remember, like what was last year or like months ago when Wired they released that article like that Danny Boyle upcoming film gonna be
Yeah, yeah,
shot on
yeah.
iPhone. And it's funny because they kind of guessed like, oh yeah, it's a Beastgrip because we have the F adapter
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
everything. And they went from this one image where you can see the rig. It's like
Hmm.
it's not that
Hmm.
clear, but you can tell
Yeah.
like huge lens with
Uh-huh.
something
Uh-huh.
and then like some small body. So I guess
Hmm.
that's how they kind of figured out probably it's an iPhone.
Hmm.
But then they researched and found about Beast Grip based on like red knob,
Oh, that
you
was the
know, that we
giveaway.
have on the
Yeah,
cage.
on the
Yeah,
cage.
but the funniest part is that that red knob is on opposite side,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they had
Hmm.
some red tape for cable
Oh,
management, and that's
well,
how they, you
uh,
know.
that was fortunate for us. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, they guessed it properly, but
Yeah.
you know, just because of the red tape on
Yeah,
that.
that was very fortunate for us.
Yeah,
So, anything else you want to give? Because I haven't finished the movie.
yeah, you
Well, we're
have.
not going to give away any spoilers,
Yeah,
but you know, I'm definitely going to watch it again.
yeah, me too. We need to go again. You still have to finish. I have to rewatch it because, uh, yeah, I've been thinking about that over the weekend. You know, because
Hmm.
it's still, uh, but again, don't try to read any reviews or like, because there is so much content right now on YouTube,
Hmm.
including our video
Yeah.
about 28
Watch this
years.
video till the end, please.
You can already get the whole plot and with spoilers and
Oh yeah,
everything.
people like to, first day movies out and they already chop. Oh, that's what brings the views.
Just go to the theater, enjoy the film, and
Especially if you're interested in smartphone filmmaking, because it's a big milestone for this
yeah,
industry.
yeah. Like in general, just go enjoy it. But if you're like into mobile filmmaking, that's like again,
It's a
it's
must
it
watch.
will be like a book, you know, for you
Yeah,
to learn from, because a lot of great techniques used, with especially that bullet time and everything. You know,
it's a lot to
it's
learn
really
from.
great. Yeah, I think we'll wait and see. Hopefully, it's gonna be more information, like some technical
Hmm.
details, because like as you can see, if you search, you cannot find any like
Hmm. Hmm.
specifics, and it's kind of makes sense. Movie came out, they want to focus on movie, you
Yeah,
know, on story,
marketing.
not
Yeah,
on like how
like
it was made.
technical stuff.
Yeah,
Well, if we get enough views, maybe someone from the team's gonna see it and they're gonna decide to give us more info, please. So,
no,
guys,
but I think, yeah, I think probably after some time it should be some information,
yeah,
because
as
you know
usually
it's
is.
not it's I think from technical standpoint, like everyone kind of used to that shot on iPhone thing.
Hmm.
But at this level of production, like, hey, you have to give us more information
Yeah.
to the public, because it's a lot of work, a lot of different techniques, and
Hmm.
it's not just like they shot it like that, right?
Hmm.
There is much more, and I think like this smartphone filmmaking and everything just getting bigger and bigger. It's just like a prime example of utilizing this technology
Yeah.
to create amazing film, and it's
Well,
gonna inspire a lot of young people, because like, look, everyone has this
I
camera,
mean,
you know.
we already know it's the future, and like a lot of kids, they already realize that, I have something in my hands, in my pocket that my parents didn't have, and I don't need to go and rent a big, you know, few $1,000 camera just to go out and film something on Saturday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And these things, they add up, and especially for young generation of filmmakers, it's, this information is valuable, and, well, let's hope we're going to find out more because it's also valuable for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll probably gonna come back to this topic once again, and yeah,
After we rewatch the movie.
and after hopefully more behind the scenes information gonna be released. Those few shots that they showed us,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they have like thousands more,
Yeah.
because they picked those really nice. Like
Mm-hmm.
you remember that
Showcase. Yeah.
first
The
rig shot?
20
Yeah.
phones. Yeah.
That's like everywhere. It was everywhere because it's very impressive, what they
Well,
did.
it was a good marketing shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, we talk about everything. You want to add something more?
Yeah, I mean that's our first type of episode, I
In a
guess.
new studio.
Yeah, it's work in progress. It's still not finished. We want to add more stuff here, and I think our goal is because we did those longer format videos
Mhm.
before, but we want to have better quality. Make it
course.
more like video podcast
Mhm.
because this way we have more time to lay out more information,
Mhm.
share some thoughts because sometimes it's hard to compress it in short
Yeah.
form video.
And sometimes we just like to yap.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna have more of those
Yeah.
episodes.
So guys, if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this in this format, where we just talk and chop things up, just like this video and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in next episodes.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.